Manila, Philippines. An American retiree lands in Manila, expecting a language barrier. Instead, he finds a nation that speaks his language with surprising and often humbling fluency. Is this the most English-proficient country in Asia? The answer is more complex and fascinating than one might imagine. My phrasebook, filled with basic Tagalog greetings, felt like a useless relic in my pocket. I had prepared for nods, gestures, and the universal language of pointing. I was not prepared for the reality on the ground. English is not just taught in schools, it is woven into the very fabric of society. Business, law, pop culture, and daily life. For an American like me, stepping into Manila felt both foreign and strangely familiar, like walking into a parallel world where my own language had taken on a new rhythm and soul. From the chaos of the airport to the quiet of a local church, I found English everywhere. Formal, playful, hopeful, and casual. This is the story of how I came to understand that for Filipinos, English is more than just a second language. It's a bridge to the world and a testament to their resilience. My first real encounter with Filipino English happened moments after I stepped off the plane at Ninoy Aquino International Airport. I braced myself for confusion, for the challenge of navigating a foreign terminal. I approached an airport official, and before I could finish my question, she replied in flawless English, "Welcome to the Philippines, sir. Immigration is just down this hall to your left." The signs were all in English. Overhead announcements alternated between Tagalog and perfectly articulated English. The immigration officer stamped my passport and said, "First time in the Philippines, Mr. Thompson? Enjoy your stay." The culture shock wasn't about food or customs. It was about language. In the baggage claim, I watched a family switch effortlessly between Tagalog and English, the transition seamless and natural. I had come prepared to be the knowledgeable American, but instead, I felt like a guest in a home where my own language was spoken with ease and grace. I realized English wasn't just mine. It belonged to them too. They had taken it, polished it, and made it an integral part of their world. The airport set the tone for my trip. English here was not foreign, but familiar. My expectations were completely upended. I was in a place where my language was not just understood, but truly lived. Leaving the airport, I hailed a taxi. The driver, Mang Jun, greeted me in perfect English. "Good morning, sir. Where to?" As we crawled through Manila traffic, he became my first unofficial tour guide, pointing out landmarks and sharing stories about his family. "My daughter is studying to be a nurse. She wants to work in America someday. Her English is better than mine." For Mang Jun, English was more than a subject. It was a passport to a better future. He switched between Tagalog and English with ease, using each for a specific purpose. By the time we reached my hotel, I felt like I'd received a masterclass in Manila's geography and Filipino culture. "Thank you, Mang Jun. That was the most interesting taxi ride of my life," I told him. He beamed. "You are welcome anytime, sir. Just enjoy the Philippines. We are a happy people." That conversation taught me more than any guidebook ever could. For him, English was the language of livelihood, pride, and connection to the world. The city's noise buzzed around me as I realized my journey was just beginning. English here was not just a tool, it was a way of life. I was already learning. The next day, I visited a coffee shop near Greenbelt Mall, buzzing with students and young professionals. The barista took my order in crisp, confident English. "Would you like to try our single-origin Bengay blend, sir?" Nearby, university students collaborated on a project, switching fluidly between English and Tagalog. "The data indicates a clear preference for digital engagement," one argued, then joked in Tagalog. On campus, banners in English advertised elections and Shakespeare auditions. Students' textbooks, principles of microeconomics, calculus, world history, were all in English. For these young Filipinos, English was the key to higher knowledge and global discourse. They weren't just learning a language, they were mastering a system of thought that connected them to the world. Their fluency was foundational, not ornamental. It was the bedrock of their ambitions and the tool to build their futures. The coffee shop and campus revealed a generation ready to take on the world, armed with intellect and the language to express it. English was their passport to opportunity. Seeking peace, I wandered into a public library, expecting shelves of Tagalog books, but finding a vast collection of English literature. Hemingway, Austen, Dickens, and Filipino authors like Nick Joaquin and F. C. O'Neill Jose filled the shelves. I read a few pages of a Filipino novel in English, local stories, global language. A young librarian explained, "Many of our greatest writers choose English. It lets them share our stories with the world." English here wasn't a colonial imposition, it was a tool for self-expression and cultural export. The library was a testament to the country's intellectual life, a place where words built bridges between cultures and generations. Students and elderly patrons alike lost themselves in English books. The quiet hum of turning pages was the sound of a nation in dialogue with the world. Here, fluency was nurtured in the sacred space of the library. They read the world's stories and wrote their own. English was not borrowed, but owned. On Sunday, I attended Mass at a packed Catholic church, expecting Tagalog, but the priest delivered his sermon in eloquent English. "We are called upon today not merely to listen to the word, but to live it," he preached. The congregation listened intently, unfazed by the language. English was a language of faith, capable of expressing their deepest beliefs. Bible readings and hymns were in English, sung with passion by hundreds. The universality of faith was clear. Language was a vessel for shared experience. After the service, people mingled, switching between Tagalog and English. The priest greeted me. "Thank you for joining us. We hope you felt the spirit of our community." I nodded, moved by the integration of English into the spiritual heart of the Philippines. Here, English was not foreign, but a voice for prayer and the soul. It was fully woven into the fabric of faith. The church echoed with a language both global and deeply personal. My journey turned personal when Elena, a local friend, invited me to her family's home for Sunday dinner. I was welcomed with warmth and hospitality, the house alive with the aroma of adobo and the chatter of 3 generations. At the table, conversation flowed in a tapestry of English and Tagalog. The elders spoke in their dialect, but addressed me in careful English. "Please eat more. You are too thin." The middle generation switched languages easily. Tagalog for family news, English for work, and when speaking to me. "We are proud you enjoy the Philippines," Elena's father said. "We are more than just beautiful beaches." The children, like Elena's niece Sophia, spoke perfect English about school and cartoons, then turned to their grandmother in Tagalog. Seeing this little girl move between languages was a powerful illustration of English fluency across generations. English was a living, evolving part of family life. It was a language of inclusion, pride, and connection. In their home, English was as natural as laughter. Throughout my stay, I became fascinated by Taglish, the creative blend of Tagalog and English in daily conversation. It wasn't just code switching, it was a living dialect, capturing the dual identity of modern Filipinos. In malls, markets, and on TV, I heard sentences like, "Let's go na, we will be late for the movie, super traffic, for sure." This wasn't poor English, it was mastery, a shorthand efficient and uniquely Filipino. Taglish was the linguistic equivalent of a DJ mixing 2 tracks to create something new. On TV, hosts delivered punchlines that only worked if you understood both languages. Taglish was not a corruption, but an evolution. A clever, adaptive expression of Filipino identity. It reflected history, global connections, and local roots. Taglish was practical for a globalized world, allowing nuance and cultural specificity. It was the sound of a culture that thrives at the crossroads. As my trip ended, I watched the sunset over Manila Bay and reflected on my question: how fluent are Filipinos in English? Their fluency is not just a skill, it's a fundamental part of their identity, a story of adaptation and ownership. I arrived as a retired teacher, but left as a humbled student. Filipinos have embraced English, infused it with their culture, and made it their own. They use it for business, knowledge, faith, humor, and hospitality. Their fluency is a quiet superpower, connecting them to the global economy and culture. It empowers millions of overseas workers and gives artists a global stage. This linguistic advantage, born from history, is now a modern strength. Filipinos are fluent enough to make a stranger feel like family, to debate, to pray, to dream. Their fluency is inspiring, the sound of a nation confident, connected, and ready for the future.